Hey folks, I'm Mike. This is Tam.
Hello.
Collectively, we're BonedaddyToo, though I'm mostly Bone Daddy and Tam is mostly...
Two.
Yeah. Today we're here at McDaniel Farm Park in Gwinnett County, Georgia. McDaniel Farm Park is an early 20th century cotton farm that's been restored and maintained to the condition that it was in during its most productive years of the 1930s. It's a special day today at McDaniel Farm. It's Heritage Day, which means there's reenactors showing us how people lived during the heyday of the farm. It's fascinating, and besides, it's good to be reminded every now and then when I'm sitting in my air-conditioned house complaining because the cable's out, that I don't have to render down old Joe the pig just to make my soap. So come along with Tam and I and our two adorable but frustratingly independent dogs, Sadie and Addie, as we explore McDaniel Farm Park on Heritage Day. Have a nice little garden here with a combination, it looks like, of flowers and vegetables. Very pretty this time of year. Got a little irrigation system set up here with PVC. As you can see, Addie and Sadie are having a good time smelling all the new smells. To a blacksmith shed. Let's see what's in there. It's tough to see in the dark, but there's the anvil. Nice paved trails through here. So if you have problems walking, you should be able to get a wheelchair or a walker down these paths fairly easy.
Phone books at the end of every side track. See that picture there?
Where? Oh, this one?
Yeah, they had a little looked like an outhouse at the end of every side track, and all it had in there was one of these phones, and you could go and talk to the dispatcher and find out when the next train would be there, how many trains you're going to have to wait on, you know. Piece and hold it up to your ear and then mash this button and talk into that.
You would mash the button and there would be somebody on the other end.
Hopefully there would be somebody.
Check out the old telegraph.
And everything was, they would hand up train orders with the train order books, and that's what you went by, and you'd go to.
And this is a buggy shed. But with a tractor. Pretty serene out here. Like time just stopped. Everybody came in from the fields one day and just sort of disappeared. think this is probably a pretty important part of the farm, or was back in the day. Smelling of the wood? What's been in that wood, girls? I don't know if you can hear the birds chirping in the background, but what a peaceful Saturday morning this is here at this little slice of the past, smack dab in the middle of Gwinnett County. Are these some of the things that were grown or are grown here on the... Sadie and Addie are going to start a fire. The main farmhouse. And what Southern boy doesn't like a front porch with rocking chairs? Looks like a bedroom. They had their own fireplace in the bedroom. That's probably a pretty good convenience back in the day. Living area also has a nice fireplace and a piano for entertaining or gathering family and friends around and singing of some songs. Another little bedroom in the farmhouse. Kind of take for granted these days being able to flip a switch and have light, huh? Imagine getting up in the middle of the night and having to go potty. And you don't have any night lights or any electricity to run them. Old washing machine. Probably a pretty good convenience for back in the 30s as well. See the ringer. Have another bedroom here. Smaller one. This might have been a child's bedroom. Look how small the dresser is there. Sadie and Addie exploring their own kind of history. Making lace.
Yeah, it's 2 stitches. You know, in knitting you have a knit and a purl, and this we have a cross and a twist. And everything that we're doing, all of our work is based on those 2 stitches.
Doesn't look like there's a lot of room for error in it at all.
Well, it is a little unforgiving.
Yeah.
You kind of have to go back and fix things if you can.
Just have to undo.
No wonder lace was so pricey back in the day. It was labor intensive.
Very labor intensive. It was charged by the width of, you know, not just the length, but how wide. So you knew the more rich someone was by how
wide and big their piece of lace was.
So if they were wearing a very thin, petite, like this kind of lace, they were but if they had, you look at your royalty, and the really thick, wide laces, it took a lot.
It was a status symbol back in the day.
It was very much a status symbol, yes.
Wow, I've already learned something new.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
View of the house from the side, going down the little path toward the barn. Have a little remnants of the orchard now. I imagine it was much bigger back in the day. Produced all your own stuff back in those days. Tough, but I imagine there's a pretty good bit of satisfaction that went along with that as well. Got the smokehouse. Had I lived back in the 1930s, which I know I look old enough to have, but had I actually lived in the 1930s, this is probably where I would have spent a great deal of my time on the farm. Got a chicken coop. Got a crazed dog that saw a pair of squirrels run across the grass a moment ago, or across the yard. Heading down toward the barn. I'm thinking this is where old McDaniel kept his pigs and his cows and his chickens and his sheep. But there's no moo-moo here. No oink oink there. These old stalls. Let's see what's in here. Storage. Old wagon wheels, parts of wagon wheels. Looks like a small prison for animals. Crops planted in rows. A little early in the season to actually see any crops. I'm not sure whether or not they used a horse and an old plow or not, but looks like it's ready for planting. I was just looking at this and really thankful for a second for my whirlpool back at the house.
Being so complaining about going home and throwing my Tide Pod in the thing.
I know.
They had to, I have been having the kids help me. You want to help? Do some laundry? Want to wash some clothes?
He's determined to go to the farm first.
Okay.
Come back.
We come in and we're washing some clothes here. This is the agitator they would have here. It's just really like sort of like the agitator before it was electric, you see.
Oh, wow.
The water would come out the top, and so if the clothes were soapy, it would soak things up really good.
Nice. At least you could stand up. You didn't have to squat down or anything like that to do
They would
it.
just use this for like bad stains
Right.
or something, and that's my rinsing. And then we had our bat here. We would rinse it out, and then we would hang it on the line.
Oh, I'm old enough to remember the washboard
Yeah.
and the hanging on the line.
I think I remember very well. I remember the old ringers. We had to push them through like this, and it was, my mother was always so worried I was going to get my finger smashed. So from wood ash, from the fireplace.
Oh, really?
Who knew that? I did not know that. So what they would do is this is the lye maker here, and see, it's got little holes in the bottom. They would fill this with the sticks or rocks or something for filter, and they would put this cloth over the top, and this would sit on a big bucket, and they would put this ash on the top here, and pour the water over here, and it would seep down through and go through the little holes here, and it would take a long time, maybe like a whole day. And then they would take what's in that bucket there and boil it down until it was thick and nice and thick, and they would mix it up with animal fat and maybe some of these nice little herbs right here, and pour it inside this mold with this cloth in it. And then when it was hardened, they would take this little thing like this and cut it into soap shapes that you think of, right? And
Wow.
they might wrap it up nicely and give it to their friends, because that was a lot of work. It would be a nice gift, right?
Now the lye soap, was it something that they used just for washing, or did they wash themselves with it?
Soap. Soap was soap. That was all their soap. But they, this is mostly house cleaning. I don't know if they.
I bet that'd be rough on the skin.
It would take. I had no idea that something so organic could be so caustic. Mm-hmm. But it was. But it was something they would have to sit and wait for like 24 hours before they used it, so it wouldn't be so caustic. But you know, they could put it on their skin, their hands, and and so they would even they would. I don't know if they actually took a bath in this, but I know lye soap. I was always told, watch out, that's strong stuff. You know.
Quilt right there is all made out of flour sacks.
And this is made from pieces of flour sacks. Because this is a quilt top that's not quite just topping. You get that ready to be put. You can see that this is some of the same cloth, and this one was Ted's grandmother made this one too. And you can see on here what they would do is they would take, if it was white or something, they might bleach it and then dye it, so they might have all one color if they wanted. So I see she used a lot of pink. She probably dyed that part. But look, this one says soft, I don't know what the S would be, but it's called meat curing salt. So there was some kind of meat curing salt inside this bag she used. And so these were probably all bits of flour sacks.
Some pretty views here. Right, Tam?
Yeah.
And it looks like you're deep out in the country, even though about a mile south of here is some of the best pho, Korean barbecue, ramen, and hot pots you'll find anywhere. Lots of them, bakeries. I think there's even a Rooms to Go not too far away. It's a pretty rolling pasture right there. Tenant house. Looks like old McDaniel kept his tenants in prison. And what farm would be complete without a privy? Yep. Looks like this one's out of order. It's always nice to be sure of where you are. Folks, thank you for joining Tam and I and our dogs at McDaniel Farm for Heritage Day. As is often the case, Book learning is no substitute for some practical experience, and today I learned a lot from these folks reenacting today. They're keeping some skills alive, and we're demonstrating them right here in a context that was perfect for it. Thanks for coming along. We got more adventures for you. Please subscribe. We'll be back soon. Bye.
Bye.